Ed's really ill, like really ill. But what's with all those flashbacks if they really are flashbacks? And why does everyone seem to be so incompetent on Mars? It's time to talk about the For All Mankind episode, Home. Spoiler alert! Shields up! First of all, let's start with a correction. I mistakenly thought the ISN Mars base was North Korean, but actually, ISN stands for Independent Spacefaring Nations, which includes countries like Brazil and Pakistan and China, but not North Korea, so it was a good escape plan for Lee.
How did you learn about that?
One of our viewers pointed out the error, which we then confirmed with a bit of online sleuthing. Apparently, info on the ISN was briefly shown during the season premiere recap, where China and Brazil signed the agreement.
It was a blink and you miss it situation.
And we blinked and missed it.
Always fun when the show forces you to do homework so you can understand what's going on.
Anyway, now that that's all sorted out, let's explore what happened in this episode. We start with a flashback to the Korean War.
Ed's all young again. It must be a relief to have a scene without all that old man makeup.
So, young Ed ejects himself from his damaged plane and lands somewhere in Korea.
So this is either a metaphor for him fighting for his life, or it's a moment in his life that really happened that is somehow connected to him actually dying in sickbay.
Maybe it's Ed's subconscious worried about Lee, wondering if his escape was successful.
Well, it seems the ISN is going to use Lee as leverage to get some access to the Iridium asteroid or something. Cue political pressure. Not really, at least not in this episode. We won't hear about that or the ISN again.
But it doesn't stop Polyvanov, the Mars governor, from being pissed off about it, as this fiasco may hinder his political ambitions. So he puts pressure on Palmer to find all those responsible.
Well, they already have the two that needed medical attention in custody.
You mean those who couldn't run away?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Palmer's doing a bang-up job.
I don't think any of us are rooting for that guy. Our dislove of him isn't helped by the fact he doesn't believe Boyd now.
To be honest, I'm surprised she didn't take any pictures of the covert hopper landing and unloading of cargo. That should have been enough to warrant an investigation, even if it wasn't linked to Lee. I mean, isn't that what you do on a stakeout? Take pictures?
No pictures, no evidence. So Palmer doesn't believe her and focuses his efforts on arresting anyone who might have been connected to Lee's escape, or really, anyone. And that's a lot of people he's cramming in his jail cells. Oh, and it turns out Boyd has a history of having bad hunches which got a police officer killed.
Again, Boyd having photos and not going along to that really dodgy Kuragan secretary would have been helpful.
Well, you don't think she didn't do all this so the story could happen?
Surely not.
But at least our Russian doctor finally tells Kelly Ed's dying of cancer. The fool didn't even want to treat his cancer. Talk about wanting to die.
He must be tired of having to apply all this old man makeup every day.
How long has he got, Doc? Oh, the writers don't want us to know, so the Doc himself doesn't. It could be weeks, could be months. Well, hopefully, it'll last till the end of the season.
Back on Earth, we hear Kuragan learned about the potential life on Titan. There's a mole somewhere in Helios.
Yep, what with murdering people on Mars and now stealing secrets, Kuragan's definitely this year's big bad.
Which means Kuragan are readying a mission to launch in 6 weeks.
That's sooner than Helios can manage it.
Well, Margot has an idea. Use Sojourner 1 and refit her with modern engines and power.
That's the ship Danny crash-landed on Mars back in Season 3.
Those writers keep forcing us to remember that season, don't they?
You're right, Gigi. That's the ship. And guess what? Margot suggests Aleda go to Mars to supervise the refit.
Hang on! How fast will the journey to Mars take now? I mean, taking into account the 6 weeks deadline they're now forced to have, by the time Aleda gets to Mars, Kuragan's ship will be nearly ready for launch.
Yeah, but it'll launch from Earth, I'm guessing?
Well, still, that's hardly any time.
Well, that's why she's trying to do it remotely, except she's not getting the information she needs because people on Mars are useless.
They can't even point the camera in the right place so she can see just how damaged Sojourner actually is and what needs fixing.
Well, the writers needed to find a proper reason for her to go to Mars.
You think incompetence is a proper reason? I mean, what if because of this bad communication she doesn't bring the right equipment or the right parts with her?
I'm more worried about the crew being weightless for all that time on their way to Titan.
That again?
Well, Sojourner didn't have any rotating section to create artificial gravity, unlike the Phoenix. We were never told how long the journey to Mars was, but Titan is roughly 1.5 billion kilometers from Mars, which is 7 times further away than Mars is from Earth. Even if it just takes a month to get to Mars from Earth these days, that means it would take around 7 months to get to Titan. I doubt any human would manage such a trip without gravity.
I'm sure the humans in this reality can tough it out. But hang on a minute. Didn't Sojourner belong to NASA? How can Helios now just appropriate it like that?
Well, don't worry too much about that for now, as the Mars police are just arresting anyone and everyone.
Well, never mind about that. We've got to go back into Ed's head.
Well, in there, a fellow downed officer is helping him get out of the danger zone.
Well, not for long, though. No, not for long.
How's Ed gonna get out on his own, wounded as he is?
Well, he can't surrender to the Koreans, that's for sure. They shoot unarmed soldiers.
The shock of him running away wakes him up from his, dream or memory or whatever it is, and now he has to confront Kelly.
Well, that's gonna be a fun conversation.
Bet he wishes he could go back into his dream coma.
While Kelly's not taking the news lying down, she's got a plan. She knows a doctor who's had good success with nanotechnology to help cure cancer.
As if the grumpiest goat in the solar system's gonna listen to some quack.
And Kelly's gonna step down from the Titan mission to look after him.
That's gonna go down well.
You think Ed's gonna allow her to do that?
You think he's gonna have a choice?
Kelly's as stubborn as her old man, and she's already been in touch with that doctor who can send these supposed nanoparticles to Mars in about a month.
Isn't getting treatment supposed to be Ed's choice?
And look what his choices have led him to.
Well, while you guys are arguing about this, Alex, who's been avoiding this whole situation because he's obviously upset his grandpa is dying, has a talk with Dev, who convinces him to stop being a jerk and go see Ed. Oh, and bring food.
Everyone likes food.
And Kelly's really glad he did come, but it's too late.
Oh no! Ed's dead.
No, you fool! He escaped.
What? How? Didn't he have a guard outside his room? I mean, he is under arrest, right? He did have a guard outside, originally. But I guess the guard thought, why am I guarding an old man dying of cancer, and went to do something else, clearing the path for Ed to leg it.
Gotta love the competence.
He managed to sneak all the way to Ilya's bar without being seen.
In his hospital gown. People on Mars truly are blind.
This leads to a sweet moment between the three Baldwin generations.
And fun with Alex as having his first drink, except it clearly wasn't.
Seems Kelly might finally accept Ed's choice to let the cancer be.
Yeah, although she does manage to convince our good Russian doctor to let Ed be in his own quarters, surrounded by all his photos and memories, while she casually mentions that she's decided to get back on the Titan mission.
Atta girl. Kind of a fast about turn, mind.
We ain't got time to waste, Doc. Now, meanwhile, Dale's pleading with Palmer to release his daughter, Lilith.
Well, she was caught spray painting Free Mars all over the place with her friend.
Talk about being caught red-handed.
But you know where this will lead, don't you? I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Oh no! That means Dale's gonna become an informant. Is it not gonna be super suspicious if Lilith is released but not the others?
Nah, I'm sure that won't come back to bite him.
While this is happening, Boyd is doing some more detective work she really should have done before arresting Lee. She goes to talk to a guy called Mahmoud who saw the fight between Lee and the guy he's accused of killing, and it turns out Mahmoud worked on the same shift as the dead guy.
How come no one's known that before making the arrest?
It's shoot and ask questions later on Mars, don't you know?
But you can't shoot and ask questions later. If you shoot first, the guy's dead and he can't answer any questions.
Analogies aside, Mahmoud doesn't want to talk because he's being watched by someone. Someone Boyd decides to chase.
On her own? Again?
And it won't surprise you that that someone knocks Boyd out.
I'm amazed she does all these things without ever having backup.
Well, this will hopefully knock some sense into her when she wakes up in hospital.
So, those shady characters have no problem killing people because that dead guy Lee's accused of having killed can't be the only one, right? But Boyd? Just knocked out.
Her skull's reinforced with plot armor, Doc.
Oh, come on, think about it. They can't kill a cop. It would bring no end of heat on whatever's going on.
But knocking one out won't do that?
Seems not. Boyd's on recovery leave for 6 weeks on full pay now, and there's no hint of an investigation being underway about what happened to her.
And that's not suspicious to anyone.
It's definitely the worst police force in the solar system.
Back on Earth, Aleda's back to chatting with Margot. She shows her photos of Titan, and the fact its methane oceans might have waves, that they're retrofitting Sojourner and he'll be ready to launch in 6 months. Oh, and that she's going to Mars on Friday. Margot's putting on a brave face, but Aleda's super emotional about leaving her.
Well, her kid's glad she's going, so she's gotta be sad about leaving someone.
Come on. You know deep down that grumpy kid's gonna miss the mom she claims to hate when she's gone. And as that happens, Kelly's back on board the wreck of the Sojourner, checking things out on her own.
On her own? Do people always do things on their own in this show?
I'm more curious how there's still breathable air in the Sojourner after all that time.
Must be Korean Soyuz capsule technology.
Don't be silly. Aleda told us they'd already started retrofitting the ship.
They started fixing the ship in the place where it crash-landed? Why not tow it into a hangar first or something? Wouldn't that be more efficient? Not to mention sensible?
Why do you think Aleda has to get to Mars to oversee the situation?
Bunch of amateurs.
Then we get one final flashback of sorts. Ed's rescued, then we see him as an astronaut. And Gordo's there.
I love Gordo.
And Karen. And Shane.
That's all a metaphor for dying, isn't it?
Yeah, Ed didn't make it. But the dog said he had weeks or maybe even months. It's not the first time a dog's being wrong, Gigi. So that's it? We won't see Margot again because she's in jail and Aleda won't be visiting her and Ed's just gone?
I must admit I wasn't expecting that, especially with us only being 3 episodes into this new season.
It's a bold move, I'll give you that. We've followed Ed since the very beginning and now, no more.
The grumpiest old goat in the whole solar system is off to more peaceful pastures.
Okay, well, to be honest, aside from that sad emotional moment, I found the episode a little frustrating.
Because of the incompetence of most of the characters?
Yeah, that certainly doesn't help. The lack of proper investigation before Lee was arrested was bad enough, but refusing to follow up on leads or to check who attacked Boyd later on, that smacks of incompetence, really.
Well, we were wrong about the investigation of Kurragan's misdeeds being resolved quickly.
Totally wrong. And considering how useless the police force is on Mars, it now looks like it's gonna drag on for a good long while.
The police are so useless. Palmer shakes his new informant's hand in front of all the prisoners. Real subtle, guys. Like no one's gonna figure out Dale's the new mole.
Considering how clueless everyone else seems to be, maybe they won't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, everyone seems to be as clueless as the team retrofitting the Sojourner, forcing Aleda to travel to Mars.
Damn, that felt forced. Couldn't the writers find a better reason to get her up there? If the retrofit crew are all that useless, her being on Mars won't turn them into efficient geniuses, you know? I mean, why wasn't the ship even in dry dock? You don't fix a ship at its crash site.
What did work, though, were the emotional beats and the character moments. Alex being spooked by the news his invincible granddad isn't as invincible as he seemed. His heart-to-heart with Dev.
That was probably the nicest Dev's ever been.
Kelly's worry about her dad, her acceptance of his choice, that nice moment at the bar, all that was lovely. They got that down right.
To be honest, I could have done without the flashback fake memories or whatever they were.
It did give Joel Kahneman a few days shooting without makeup, which must have been a relief.
I forgot how young he actually still looks.
Yeah, this will likely help the casting directors not think he really is 90 for future projects. So yeah, good emotional beats, but the story itself kinda feels amateurish at best and incompetent at worst.
If the police are this bad, Kurragan are sure to get away with whatever it is that they're trying to get away with.
I'm sure now that Boyd's got 6 weeks of paid leave, she'll be able to do some more detectiving on her own and crack the case or something.
Well, that's for another episode to deal with, or a bunch more. The next one may also devote a heck of a lot of time to Ed's funeral. We'll see.
Yeah, no need to speculate, we'll know soon enough. Hopefully, the story's reins will be held on more tightly and people won't be so stupid from here on out.
That's optimistic of you.
Listen, I just don't want a repeat of season 3, okay?
Well, it's not as bad as that. Not yet, anyway. It's frustrating, for sure, but season 3 proves it can be a lot worse. Actually, I think killing Ed off was a ballsy move. I wasn't expecting him to go so soon. Hopefully, killing one of the show's main characters so soon means they have a lot more exciting stuff up their sleeve.
That's optimistic of you.
It'll either make the show or break it.
It's not such a good episode story-wise, and there are potential worrying trends if the writing keeps going in the direction it currently is.
As we're here for the duration, let's strap in for what's to come.
Well, that's all we have for this one. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll give you the response you deserve. She does manage to convince our good Russian doctor to let Ed be in his own quarters, surrounded by all his photos and memories, while she casually mentions that she's decided to get back on a